Hi, welcome back to Focal Point AFR Talk. Brian Fisher is my name. The program is Focal Point. You are listening to high definition radio right here on the American Family Radio Talk Network. On Focal Point, we try to give you more content per cubic inch of air than any other place on your radio dial. Now, just wanted to follow up, close the loop on that. 888-589-8840 is the number to call, by the way, 888-589-8840. Back to that story I talked with you about, I referred to it last hour. This is from the Baltimore Sun. A fifth man has filed a lawsuit against Kevin Clash, the former voice of Elmo on Sesame Street, making sex abuse allegations similar to those of four other plaintiffs. Kevin Chiadi, now 25, alleges that he was 16 when he and Clash engaged in sexual contact after meeting on a gay phone chat line. Lawsuit says that he gave him alcohol, he groomed him with attention and with affection. The sex was consensual, the lawsuit says, but as a 16-year-old child, and he was below the age of consent, he was not emotionally or psychologically prepared for a sexual relationship with a grown man in his 40s. This is the fifth time now, the fifth example, the fifth legal accusation of pedophilia against the man that was the voice of Elmo on Sesame Street. Now, here's the question. So far, they've all been suing this guy. When are they going to get around to suing Sesame Street? Somebody at some point is going to sue Sesame Street because, and their argument's going to be a good one, somebody had to know. Somebody had to know that this guy was a predatory homosexual, that he was preying on children, that he was a homosexual pedophile. Somebody at Sesame Street had to, at a minimum, have some sort of suspicions. There may be some who were part of the Sesame Street team that actually had guilty knowledge of his proclivities and his conduct in this regard. So, right now, I think Sesame Street's being protected, being protected because, they're way to the left in their politics, but that's not going to hold up forever because that's where the money is. I mean, they want to go after somebody with deep pockets. It's not Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo. I don't know what he made being Elmo, but he doesn't have the pockets that Sesame Street has. That's where the money is. So I think that's where the attack is shortly going to come. Now, I mentioned the fact that AFA has been classified by the SPLC as a hate group, and we're not. We're a truth group. They classify us as a hate group because they accuse us of telling lies about homosexual behavior. We don't. Everything we say about homosexual behavior is the truth. It can be confirmed. It can be verified. Now, Mark Levin is a radio host, and he had Ben Carson on his program yesterday to talk about the way in which the secular left, secular fundamentalists have come after Ben Carson with a hatchet, with a tomahawk, to try to scalp this guy, neutralize him, put him out of their misery. Now, one of the things this tells you, ladies and gentlemen, this tells you that Ben Carson is a huge, huge threat to the left. They will always tell you whom they fear the most by who they attack the hardest. That's how you know. That's how you know who the most effective voices for the truth are. Who does the left go after the hardest? Who do they try to destroy? Who do they try to obliterate? Who do they try to eviscerate? Whoever that is, you are looking at someone that represents a threat to them. They fear that individual or that group, and that's why they are trying to exterminate him. So here is Ben Carson on yesterday with Mark Levin talking about these irrational, hate-filled, vitriolic, animosity energized attacks on Ben Carson. Let's listen.
They want to shut us up completely.
Yeah.
And that's why the attacks against me have been so vicious, because I represent, an existential threat to them. They need to shut me up. They need to get rid of me. They can't find anything else to delegitimize me, so they take my words, misinterpret them, and try to make it seem that I'm a bigot.
And you're You're attacked also in many respects because of your race, because you're not supposed to think like this and talk like this. A lot of white liberals just don't like it, do they?
Well, they're the most racist people there are because, they put you in a little category, a little box. You have to think this way. How could you dare come off the plantation?
So that's Ben Carson saying, look, liberals are the most racist people there are. And here's my question. Do you agree with Ben Carson when he says that? Agree or disagree? Ben Carson, the most racist people on the planet are liberals. And he says they're racist because they want to keep me in this little box. They want to tell me what to think. They want to tell me what to believe. They want to tell me what to say. They want to keep me in chains on the liberal plantation. So Ben Carson's out there. Liberals are the most racist people that there are. I'd like to know what you think about that. 888-589-8840. And Ben Carson, I mentioned, by the way, is prepared. I mentioned this earlier, but our friends at the Illinois Family Institute, we are affiliated with them. They are affiliated with us. They're the state affiliate of the American Family Association in the state of Illinois. And they've invited Dr. Ben Carson to be the keynote speaker at their fall banquet October 4th. And he's accepted the invitation to be the keynote speaker at the Illinois Family Institute. Now, this is one of the few. They are so effective. This is Lori Higgins. This is David Smith. Peter LaBarbera is connected with them or has been in the past. This is one of the most effective state-level groups at blocking the homosexual agenda. They're so effective that the SPLC has labeled them, even though they're not a national group, even though they're only a statewide pro-family group, they have labeled the Illinois Family Institute as a certified hate group. And so now Equality Matters, they're out there. This is a website pushing sodomy-based marriage. This is the headline of their piece, Ben Carson scheduled to give keynote address to notorious anti-gay hate group. So now our friends at the Illinois Family Institute, and all of this, I'm sure, transpired before Ben Carson was such a high-profile public figure. I mean, I'm sure this arrangement had been made some time ago, probably before all of this controversy swirled around Dr. Carson. But now, Illinois Family Institute directly in the crosshairs, and I'm telling you, you are going to see pressure like you have never seen for him to pull out of this speaking event. And we're going to find something out about Ben Carson. This is going to be his Tim Tebow moment for Ben Carson, because I will flat out guarantee you he is going to get enormous pressure. I mean enormous pressure from the homosexual activists, from secular fundamentalists, to cancel the speaking appearance before this pro-family group. This is going to be his Tim Tebow moment. Now, will Carson hang tough? Will he stand in there? Now, Tim Tebow didn't. He folded under that pressure. Disappointed me, disappointed a lot of folks. Not saying anything about Tim Tebow's character in other respects, about his faith. Strong Christian, outspoken. I commend him for it. Taking a lot of shots for speaking up for Jesus. I praise him for that. I commend him for it. Showing a lot of courage. But on this one, he folded when it came to speaking at First Baptist Dallas. And now Ben Carson's got his Tim Tebow moment. Will he stand or will he cave? I'm betting he's going to stand. Focal Point, AFR Talk.